There we go. It is Jacob Warren on the Vol Report, brought to you by Vassy Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it's worth the drive. And I'm taking a close peek at Jacob. If you're on YouTube, you can see him. I'm just making sure that no media scars from SEC Media Day. You're good, right?
Good, man. I'm good. I had a good time though.
Did you enjoy it as a whole?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that obviously it was a long day, right? You were there too. It's a long day,
It's a
and
long dad blame week.
yeah, and I mean, if you're once you're when you're in it, you kind of just going and you're flowing and moving to the next room and doing interviews and stuff like that, and then you kind of get done with it, and you're like, wow, that was a lot, right? But I'm sitting there on the plane on the way back, and well, yeah, no, I had a great time. I think that you know, definitely well worth it, and definitely something I really enjoyed.
Well, you did a great job. You're one of the, and not surprisingly, one of the best spoken athletes there among all schools at SEC Media Days, and I wasn't surprised at all. Was there any one question you look back at now that you had some? I asked you this question at SEC Media Days, but now that you had time to mull over, where you're thinking that was a weird question. Doesn't have to be like a trapping question, but just like that was a bit odd.
Um, I don't think it was necessarily weird, but the one question I think back about is a team or a writer from a specific team that I'm not gonna talk about
Yeah.
asked me. He asked me essentially how we've beaten them the past 2 years, how our offense has had such success against them the past 2 years, and I looked at him and I went, I don't know, maybe y'all, maybe y'all aren't good enough to stop the offense. I don't know. Like that's what I wanted to say, right? But um, no, I was just like, man, I don't know. We go each week every day and prepare the same. And if we have a lot of success against one team, I mean, that's obviously great. There's no secret formula. There's nothing that we have against anybody. It's purely just a matter of going out and executing our plan. And he's like, oh, okay. I was like, what did you want me to say? Like, we just won. We just
So
won.
that question would make perfect sense if you had had two great offensive games in the past 24. But you're pretty good on offense all the time.
Exactly. And so that was what was confusing to me. It's like, dude, we're beating everybody by 30, 40 points. Like it's not just y'all, right? So yeah, man, that was interesting. But nothing crazy. No one just threw anything bad or like you said, no trapping questions or anything, at least from what I could tell.
Yeah. One of the big topics of conversation, and Greg Sankey started at the SEC commissioner on Monday. You got there on Thursday.
Mhm.
Was NIL regulation and how they're trying to get Congress to do something because the laws differ from state to state, which
Yeah,
is a problem. I don't know. That's a problem that's going to get solved anytime soon. You got to elect a president next year.
right.
So, I mean, and you got the Ukraine thing. So I'd say on the list of issues, it's pretty far down.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for Congress. But as a player that has benefited and been through the NIL process, which includes what we're doing here,
Yeah.
how do you view the NIL from the player's standpoint? What do you think?
So obviously there's a couple different views, right? There's a couple different ways you can go about it. I think that I'll start with this. On the first side of it, you have ability to now pay players over the table, right? Practically the same thing that was going on all around the country before NIL was, even dating back to when my dad played, right? There was players getting paid by whoever it was, whether it was boosters or whatever. It was under the table. It was illegal. It was not allowed. Like this now is possible because we have collectives and you have different organizations that um, can now do this, right? These players sign with the organizations and they can completely legally pay them over the table and they get what they're worth and they get what they think they're valued. And it's not pay for play. So it's still very much, I don't know how to say it. It's still fair, right? In a way. Now I do think that, you know, that's one way to go about it. For me, I think that the approach I kind of took to it was, I'm a local guy. Um, a lot of people in Farragut and Knoxville kind of recognize my face and my name a little bit just because of I did come from Farragut. I was one of the bigger recruits to come out of the area and have had some success at Tennessee. So you get a lot of people that want to be involved with me. Um, you know, a lot of the deals that I've worked and a lot of the things that I've done, the appearances I've done have come from just purely the fact that I'm a local kid, right? And people around this area want to have me represent their stuff. So That's kind of the approach that I feel like I took with it was being able to capitalize on my face as a local guy and where I'm at, with this program, um, and whether neither was necessarily better, right? But I think there's definitely two ways you can go about it. There's kind of the more hustle way, and there's kind of the more you know just trying to realize my value to the team and get paid for that.
Yeah, and it's also, I think, easy for a player to say, "Hey, we're 90% of what goes on," which is true on a given Saturday. I mean, there are coaches there, but ultimately the 22 that are on the field determine and the
Yeah,
85 and 85.
yeah,
But by the same token, I feel like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
yeah,
I feel like you respect the University of Tennessee and know that if this was just 85 guys that got together and played in a sandlot, you wouldn't have the same platform. I feel like you respect that platform as well.
yeah. I think that you get that argument of, oh well, we should be getting this because we're the ones that they come watch. Yeah, we are. Right. This like the coaches wouldn't have jobs without the players, right? The players also wouldn't know in nothing, but wouldn't know anything without the coaches. And if the people weren't fans of us and we didn't have people that actually cared about us, no one would show up to our games. If we weren't good, right? No one people would probably still care here because they just have in the past, right? But
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like no one would watch, no one would whatever. So there's so many different things that go into it, man. So many people behind the scenes that make sure our turf at Neyland is good, right? Is nice, is ready for a game. Make sure all the seats are, what I mean? There's so many things that go into it. It's not literally just us, but at the end of the day, yeah, man, these people are watching us, and the product that we put out on the field is what makes the university money, but also what makes us money. Like I think that you kind of have to separate yourself and your value from the university because, like you're aware, and like a lot of people I'm sure are aware, I'm not allowed to use the Power T to advertise myself, right?
Right.
Now,
We've almost slipped up on that a couple of times. We've had to change shirts.
yeah, right. Go take that shirt off, right? Don't have a Power T on it. Like, sure, my name and my image is somewhat wrapped up in the university, right? When people think of Tennessee tight end, or when people think of me, they think, oh, tight end at Tennessee, whatever it may be. So that's allowed. Obviously, that's how I got where I am, is because my brand is attached to that brand, which is exactly what you want, right? A big major brand. You want to be kind of, want to kind of ride that brand. So um, end of the day is I don't know. We are two separate entities, and I do what I do, and they do what they do, and I don't know. I can't be mad at the university for not giving me money because I don't know that I don't know. I think it's just because I've never even seen that. Right, that's never even been a possibility. That's never been something that I even thought would ever happen. Why would the university be giving me money on ticket sales? Right, that doesn't make sense. But now with NIL, yeah, you ask those questions and you wonder, like, man, do I deserve that money? Like, other people, where does that money go? Is that money just going to, random things? And I don't know. There's a lot of different things you have to consider.
Yeah, I thought there was a time when players resented the amount of money before NIL that was coming through. And I want to ask you about that. The Ball Report brought to you by Bassey Lawn and Garden. Whether you're in Knoxville, Nashville, or Chattanooga, you can get to Cleveland. And with their buying power, save thousands on commercial and industrial mowers. Toro, count on it. And I think there were times that players saw all these, it was mostly coaches
Yeah,
making millions of dollars, and I
yeah,
think that's kinda where it started. It's like, I'm risking my life out
sure,
here, which basically you are.
right,
And now we hear that the Big Ten wants to get some of the television money directly to them because they hear about the big television numbers.
yeah.
Is that something that you see that you think catches people's attentions when you talk about billions of dollars in TV revenue?
So I definitely think that that was huge before NIL, right? And I think that still is big, but um, in a way, I feel like NIL kind of took the light off of that in a way, like if that makes sense. But at the same
Mhm.
time, is now that we do make money, now that we can make money, it's like, hey, I want that money, right? Like that's a lot of money. I want that money. So it's kind of goes both ways. But I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about it. I think that you know I don't feel entitled to that money in a way. But at the same time, if the Big Ten's going to do it, I want to do it, right?
Well,
If
yeah,
if
yeah, and
they're going to be able to make all the money off the you know the stream or the broadcast or whatever it is, then yeah, sure, that'd be great. Obviously, that brings in a lot of different, I feel like, weird business things that you don't want to get involved in. I know we were talking earlier about like unions and stuff like that, and now do I become an employee of the broadcast? Do I become an employee of the university? Like, how does all that work? I don't know. So I'm not gonna worry about that until,
No, you're getting ready to cruise.
yeah,
After this year, you're gonna be making the
right,
straight check from your employer.
exactly, right,
Yeah, but, the other thing is too, a guy like you, you've gone out and hustled. You've set up, speaking events. You've done things and very worthwhile speaking events too. And you've gone out there and worked and, you've capitalized on your brand and what you have going, and I think you should be credited with that. I wonder if a union would just kinda level things across the board.
yeah. I mean, I think that that's life, right? I think that you got people that work and you got people that don't, and you got people that expect a lot and you got people that don't expect a lot. And I think that I can only expect what I go work for. I can only, you know, the way that I see my value is how much value I bring to these businesses and these other places, and um, would never assume I'm worth more than what these people think I'm worth. And obviously, I know this is all NIL worth, right? It's not actual at my actual value, but yeah, sure, man. If you want to pay me this much to do this, I'm not above. I'm not above you paying me $50 for what I mean, for an interview, right? Like that's $50, right? Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I kind of have to. There are times you kind of have to. It's a business, right? And I got to be smart about where I'm going, what I'm doing, and because I'm managing a lot of that stuff, and I'm kind of making those decisions for myself. So it's definitely cool. It's definitely interesting, and I'm learning a lot through the process.
Well, I wonder how much better, aside from you getting a check
Yeah,
from whomever, but how much better of an adult and a person that's gonna lead a household and manage money
yeah,
one day do you think this will make you whenever you're in that position?
yeah, man. I think that that's been the biggest thing, and I've definitely I've talked about it too. I think I talked a little bit at SC Media Days, um, and we were talking to it in reference to kind of the leadership role that I've taken. But I definitely think that over the past year, 2 years, NIL too has really changed my life. Not because of the money, right? That we're not dealing with life changing money, right? Some people do, but like that's not what's going on. So just the fact that I'm able to, man, like you said, manage my money, understand what opportunities I need to be in, I don't need to be in, what's a threat to my brand, what's going to boost my brand, how can I position myself accordingly, and what pictures do I need to be posting at what times, like how do I show off these parts of my life that so that people kind of want to be involved with me. And um, I don't know. I think it's really cool. I think it's very, um, it's challenging in a way, but at the same time, people going through harder things. So, um, yeah, man, I love it. It's definitely changed my life.
What do we have to do to get the NCAA football game back? That's my question.
That's a good question, dude. 'Cause there's nothing I can do. There's nothing.
You
there's nothing,
know, we need to band together right now and get this done, Jacob.
I'm sure people are out there trying, man. I don't know. It'll be back eventually. I'm sure. Um, I don't know.
It's been like 20 years.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know.
What would be your rating, by the way?
Oh man, who cares? They don't. I play myself anyway. I throw the ball to myself every every play, even if my rating's not that high. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
tight end screen. There we go. Cool. Tight end down the middle. Yep, there it is. It's open.
Change of gears on you a little bit. The Vol Report brought to you by Vassy Lawn and Garden. Go to vassy.com to learn more with Jacob Warren. So Joe Milton last week at SEC Media Days, and maybe it's just because the flurry of questions that he was
Yeah.
asked, admitted at one point on radio that he got a little bit down when he
Yeah.
was injured and didn't play as well as he thought, and it was Hendon Hooker's job. I guess this would be 2021.
Yep.
What do you remember about that time, how down he might have been, and what do you remember about how he reacted?
Um. So I also talked about Joe a lot at SCB today.
Yeah,
Just
I bet. I try to stay away from the stuff you were asking about all the time.
yeah, a lot of people were just asking questions about it, but um, yeah, I mentioned how much I think one of the clips came out on Twitter too about how much I respected Joe for just kind of what he went through. Right. Again, people have gone through way worse, but the fact that he that roller coaster that he was on, and having to sit there and watch, his best friend, truly like one of his really, really good friends, um, be doing what he thought he was going to be doing and what he expected himself to be doing, would be tough, right? And I think that, you that happens to anybody, right? Not even a starting, especially a starting quarterback, but not even a starting quarterback, right? Your job doesn't necessarily, maybe get taken, but you lost your opportunity and someone else really capitalized on their opportunity. You're gonna be somewhat upset, right? Especially because it's not a position that you just rotate, right? Like if me, a tight end who, you know, I lose my starting position, I'm still going to get in the game, right? I'm still going to go because he's going to get tired and I'm going to get the reps and I'm going to, be able to make plays and be able to kind of, show my talent, whatever. But quarterback position, like that's just not how it not how it rolls. So for him to kind of take the passenger seat there and just ride along with Hendon as he was, going on to all the successes, kind of just showed how much he cares, right? Obviously, he stuck out for a long time to be able to get to this position right now. So yeah, he's more than happy to admit that he was down at some point because right at this point, I'm sure he's feeling on top of the world, right? He's got all this, you know, sounds bad, but he's got all this attention, right? All of us love attention, right? We love being, maybe not the center of attention, but we love people talking about us and kind of the buzz that kind of starts up as the season rolls around. And yeah, man, he's doing great. I think that him right now, his mental and just how he is emotionally and everything right now is really good spot for him.
I had a former SEC coach that told me, I just asked about Joe Milton, can he take that next step like Hendon Hooker? And he said, let me tell you, I learned everything I need to know about Joe Milton for coming back for the 2022
Yeah,
season.
yeah,
Because he didn't have to. I mean, that was Hendon Hooker's job.
mhm,
Barring injury or something going awry, he was going to be the guy.
right.
Yet he came back, and now it's his time. Were you ever, as a team, concerned or thought that he might transfer before the 2022 season?
I mean, I think yeah, like I don't know. I think that that portal opens and very quickly you see who's ready to get out, and you've known for a while some of the people that have been ready to get out, and Joe never really gave you that, you know, that thought. That never really entered our heads about whether he would leave because he never talked about leaving. He never seemed like he wanted to leave. He never, acted or was talking like he was going to leave. And so, no, man, I never really feared or thought that he would go. If he did, obviously, I've said in the past he would have every right to leave, right? And looking from the outside, he's not starting. He's a great quarterback. He very well could be a starting, very very successful quarterback in this league, and he's on the bench, right? That's kind of it's just weird, right? So we all would understand, but obviously, same time, very happy that he decided to stay, and very, very much respect for it.
Great stuff. He is Jacob Warren, the Vol Report with Jacob Warren, brought to you by Bassey Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it's worth the drive. Hit that like, subscribe button, turn the notifications on if you haven't already. This has been a presentation of Off the Hook Sports.